and gentlemen, yeah, take your time.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 232. I am your host, Keith Andrew, and I'm here with the talented and beautiful Anastasia Edwards, and I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you. Well, thanks for having me. I think you're doing an amazing thing, and I told you that before. So I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And this is just basically a normal conversation. You're supporting a new cause, making a new friend out of it. And
you okay with my big cup of tea?
Yeah, it's fine. You express yourself any way you want.
I'm originally from Russia, so in Russia, we're big on tea. We're kind of like English, I guess.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, starting off, you mentioned you're from Russia. What can you tell us about your life growing up?
Well, I moved to Chicago, to U.S. about 5 years ago to further pursue my acting career. Since I was a child, I was just obsessed with, acting industry and just like filming, dancing, singing, all of that. I grew up in St. Petersburg. Have you heard of that city at all? No?
It's in Russia?
It's in Russia. It's basically second biggest city after Moscow. It's gorgeous. It's like seriously one of the cities you have to visit before you die. And I'm not saying it because I'm from there, but it's gorgeous. Have you seen the cartoon Anastasia, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so everything's happening in it's beautiful in the cartoon. All the tsars and palaces and everything. I miss it so much. I haven't been in like 5 years, so I can talk about it for a long time. Growing up, my mom, I was raised by a single mother, and we really are best friends. She poured a lot into me. Basically, since I was a kid, she took me to a musical theater where I spent 10 years of my life. It was a school where you study ballet, modern jazz, and acting, and all of that together, and then we toured around Russia and overseas as well. Did a lot of commercial and spokesperson spots like that, some TV. And then after I turned 18, I was like, Mom, I want to further pursue my acting career. Let's move to America. She was like, okay, let's pack our bags and we're moving. So that's pretty much how all of that happened. And we moved to Chicago because basically the only person we knew in the whole country lived in Chicago. So we're like, okay, we're moving to Chicago. And then, as I said to you before, I was obsessed with New York. I really wanted to move to New York. And I kind of pictured, like, whole this American dream was kind of a New York image in my head, the skyscrapers and everything about New York. But then, whatever's temporary becomes permanent, and I felt safe in Chicago. Midwest people are the best, like, for real. I'm just so blessed. And, yeah, I just stayed in Chicago and pursued my acting here. I did visit New York, though. Checked out all the shows. It was amazing. You know how they say New Yorkers are rude? I didn't feel that at all. For real, like, they're so nice. We're helping. I didn't live there. I visited, so I know there are two different experiences. But, yeah, I had a great time.
Hey, if you want to go have fun in an apartment for New York, I'm always up for that. Maybe you like to be my co-host.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'd be great. I love New York. It's just that I focused on mostly TV and film industry and not so much theater. Chicago kind of has a little bit of both. So I started with Chicago, and probably LA would be my final destination. So, but yeah, New York. One day I'll have like an apartment out there somewhere.
Oh, New York or LA?
New York. Well, LA for sure. If I'm gonna live there, and then Chicago, and then I love to travel. I've been here 5 years, but I visited quite a few states, and I'm surprised how many Americans haven't even been outside of their own state. That's crazy to me.
Well, I'm a perfect example of that.
Oh, for real? Well, you should come to Chicago. Now you have a place to stay. You can definitely come to Chicago.
No, I appreciate it. After the show, I do have some ideas for you. Now, What part of Chicago are you from? Are you in the suburbs? Are you in the city?
When I moved here for the first time, I moved to the suburbs, which was just is a disaster because I'm from a big city originally from Russia. And I felt like I was literally 100 years old. There was like no one around at the time. I did not drive. It was so quiet. I was like, where the heck am I? And I pictured like America, it's all skyscrapers everywhere. Like I didn't know that it's just the downtown area and then the rest of it is those suburbs. So I was like, where the heck am I? So yeah, I mean, I think it's beautiful to live in the suburbs with a family and kids and stuff like that. But you know, I was young and ambitious, and I just didn't feel. So I lived in the burbs, but then I moved to the south side, and now I'm on the west side. It's like old Irving Park. I don't know. You probably don't know where that is, but it's about 20-minute ride, 15-minute ride to downtown. So it's kind of in between.
Do you guys need to drive, or do you guys rely on taxis?
I mean, a lot of people have a car here. I mean, public transportation is pretty, you know, it's kind of like New York. You know? I personally used to drive everywhere until like this last year. I had an accident. My car is completely messed up now, so now I'm like riding a train. I'm kind of liking it, to be honest. Like, I don't know. You're seeing people. I like the energy. I like being around people, and that's where I'm used to. What I'm used to, you know, from Russia, from the city that I was from. So, yeah, both taxi, yeah, but now you know with Uber and Lyft, everyone's like, I'm using it myself. So, poor taxi drivers, they hate us. They hate Uber. They hate Lyft.
You know, if taxi drivers really want to compete with Uber, monkey see, monkey do. Why don't they just copy what they do?
Well, the funny part is that taxi drivers, I think they can do both. They can do Lyft, Uber, and taxi. But then why would you want to pay whatever they pay to lease a car if you can I don't know. You know what? I'm just trying to stay out of it because I probably don't know enough information to whatever say whatever.
That's a beautiful mug you have, by the way.
Thank you. I don't even remember where I got it from, but I'm like showcasing it here.
No, like I said, in the theme of the show, a lot of people are telling me, I'll tell you the story about my talk show if you don't mind. Then I'll pass it back to you. Like I said, basically a normal conversation. That's why it makes me a good talk show host, because I don't know when to shut up.
No, I think that's great. It's more natural that way. You know, some of the so, you know, you watch some talk shows nowadays, and it just seems so fake. I don't know. You know, so once your show gets picked up and you become all famous and everything, keep it that way. Keep it natural. You know,
no, absolutely.
Get in your head.
I said when I become famous, I made a promise to my parents that I will never change who I am. I'll not be who I am until the day I die.
Well, let's hope you keep it, because it's tough, you know. It does get in your head for some people, like some people that I know, even.
You have to be humble.
It messes with you. But tell me a little bit, I mean, I know technically you're interviewing me, but like a little bit about the show, like how did you start, like what made you decide to like do this at all, and what disability exactly you're facing with yourself?
What do you want to start with?
Like start from whatever you want to start with. I don't know.
Alright, well, I'm probably going to get a lot of heat for this, but I use my brother as an inspiration. He thinks I'm an ass kisser. Maybe I am a little bit. But I don't know. I'm trying to find... there's multiple different stories that I use, and they're all true. You know, my dad used... I haven't done my interviews as a way, so if I hesitate, I apologize. My dad used to make high school yearbook videos. So that's how I used to get an iMovie. Basically, he and my brother would say from September to about June, they would go through the whole year. You know, there's Spirit Week, there's Halloween, and there's Christmas, then there's the pep rally. And instead of having an ordinary yearbook that you hold in your hands, like I can use this for a perfect example. Instead of just being a yearbook, you have an actual video yearbook.
Oh, wow, that's creative. That's cool.
So my dad influenced me on that. Then my brother did his own thing. He went on tour and whatever. And I was like, everyone in my family had a learning disability one time or another.
Wow.
Or one's a school teacher, and one's a poetry writer, and everyone's off somewhere. And I'm like, well, I have a disability too. Why can't I do that? Yeah, well, I don't have the best people skills. I am very friendly. I do
Yeah,
want.
you seem to be very. Why would you not have best people skills? You
I
seem
don't
to.
have a filter.
Well, a lot of people don't. They don't consider themselves bad at people skills.
That's true. Well,
That's what you're doing. I think it's kind of cool, you know.
no, absolutely. So, I had my brother and my dad influence me, and I was working in retail. Long
Mm-hmm.
story about that. I got sick out of it because I just came up with it like I really don't want to be working in retail for the rest of my life. So I'm sitting back and I'm watching everyone else. They all got married and everything and started their lives and careers. And
Mm-hmm.
I said one day, screw it. For the longest time, I was using my disability as a crutch. I
Mm-hmm.
can't go to college. I can't drive. Um, Apparently, I can't hold down a job because I don't know how to shut up. I can tell you afterwards what happened. So I was like, what am I very passionate about doing? What do I want to do for the rest of my life until I die?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did have a talk show back in high school.
You did.
Yep, it was called the Keith Andrew Power Hour.
Wow. Okay. How did that go?
It's pretty good. I wanted to have guests, but it was because it was a high school based show. You couldn't have people coming in, so it was just a trial by fire. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just sitting here. I was like, well, I've been using my learning disability as a crutch for all these years. Why not turn a strength into a weakness?
Exactly. That's smart.
And now I'm turning myself into a perfect example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. But you should never give up, and you should prove to people you still amount to something. But labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be.
Exactly. That's really empowering.
No, absolutely. And a lot of people like you just said to me, what is your disability? By looking at you, by talking to you.
Yeah, you seem. Mm-hmm.
No, go ahead.
No, I want to hear you.
And they say by talking to you and everything, you don't look handicapped, you don't look like you don't have a malfunction. I'm just trying to make you laugh. They just said to you, what is your disability? And
Yeah, you messing with us? Is that it?
I get a lot of that too. And a lot of people would say, I'm like you, only I'm a guy. Last time I checked. But I'm like you, only I'm a guy. But you went to college, you were able to drive, you were able to do all these different things. So for me, it would be like you're 100%. For me, I would be 50%. So it would be scaled back. So I give you a perfect example. Like someone to say, okay, today we're gonna read this acting book, and you're gonna read 1 through 10. And it's like, okay, you would get that. For me, it would go over my head. Because for me, I would say, okay, we have to do it page by page. And we have to do it like 2, 3, maybe 4 times so it sinks in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a slow learner.
So learning disability, would that be
Yes.
the case? Okay.
And so,
Is there a particular name for this disability or no? Is it something that you were diagnosed that the doctors told you, or you just yes? Okay.
So basically, it was like I have ADD, I have ADHD. I can say words, but I forgot the other thing where you're spelling. I can't spell it. No, go ahead.
No. I'm just confirming. You can't spell. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't either. I'm like terrible at it.
Yeah, at least we can do other things.
You're not alone. A lot of people can't spell, actually. It's terrible.
So I can't spell. I can say words if you repeat it once or twice. Eventually it sinks in. But I can't spell even if my wife depended on it. My motor skills aren't that good, so I don't feel comfortable driving. But like I said, I'm pretty much like you, only what you do, for me, it's got to be... Takes longer, and it's got to be skill.
And is it something that you developed, or you've always had that?
Always had it.
Always had it, okay. Interesting. And then your family, you said, also had struggles with the same issue, your dad or your brother?
I think it counts on my mom's side. My dad's a school teacher for past 46 years, so I don't think he had a disability.
Yes, okay. Oh yeah, you mentioned he's a teacher, okay.
But everyone else, one goes on tour, I haven't seen them. One's a poetry writer, she has 2 books. One's a school teacher, and the other 2 are off doing whatever. And I'm kind of like, I don't get it. They have disabilities, but they're off doing these amazing things, but I'm sitting here with my thumb up my ass, and I'm like, why can't I do that? And it's like, well, you can't comprehend what you're doing, you can't hold down a job. It's like, those are all maybe true, but they sound like excuses. But it's kind of...
Hold a job, create your own job, create your own business. That's the way to go. I agree with you.
And there's actually a quote I saw today. My friend shared it on Facebook. Says, it's a line. That says, when you can't make your own way, if you can't do something a certain way, you should make it your own way.
Make your own, yep.
So I'm doing that. It's like, I was labeled as this and that, but I'm going to show you that labels do not dictate who I am, who I am going to be.
That's a great purpose. How long you've been so I know this is a 230...
For 232.
So that means, how long do you do it every day, or?
Yep, I don't have a set day. I tried having a set day, but I have ADD, so I constantly have to be doing something. So I tried doing blog talk radio, but I'll tell you the long story about it. I had a blog talk radio, and listened to what's called Uncensored, and I interviewed. Don't ask me why, it seemed like a good idea at the time. I interviewed 73 people via phone. From people from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to Dragon Ball Z and everything. And I was working with Blog Talk Radio. And I was thinking about, maybe I can do a show Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Or I do it once a week, but then I was constantly getting more and more episodes. It's like, this is not going to work. So I came up with a new show idea. I recently changed it from Uncensored to, I said, a lot of people have Uncensored this, Uncensored that. And I got into an argument with an actress over it. And I was kind of like, forget it. It's been 3 years, I'm going to create something new. So it's now called... Oh, go ahead.
I thought I was going to... Every time I say I'm going to sneeze, I don't sneeze. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Don't worry about it. You're gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm a sweetheart. I'm a bad flirt.
Me too. Seriously, people don't believe... I don't know how to flirt. I'm being friendly, people think I'm flirting. I'm not. Anyways, moving forward.
Right. So after 3 years, I was like, I want something different. So I said, my brand name is the KeithAndrewNetWork. Why not use that? Why come up? Because it was originally the KeithAndrewNetWork presents Uncensored. And it's like, then a lot of people who are, very religious or just crazy says, we don't like the uncensored part. To come up with something better. Okay, fine, I'm not going to argue with you. So I was like, why not use my brand name? So I was like, use the KeithAndrewNetWork. Okay.
Brand yourself, right.
Yes, and they do this. Interesting. Now, tell us your theme on your show. What is the theme of your show going to be? And I'm like, okay, what about Uncensored? Okay, now what is the purpose of... I'm just trying to make you laugh. It's what is the purpose of uncensored? Okay. I didn't know I was being dissected right here. Okay, uncensored. Freedom of speech, freedom of self-expression. Say anything you want. Interesting. Okay, that's enough of that guy. So it's the Keith Andrew Network. The theme is uncensored, freedom of speech, freedom of self-expression. You have as much time as you like. And I did over 232 interviews, thanks to you.
Amazing.
And it was supposed to be more. You know, I originally got up to 300. And
what happened to those?
Yeah, good question. Little by little, people were saying, you know, my agent, and this is how they said it to me. And yeah, I just do voices to make you laugh. It's like, you know, my agent said to me, your video quality was crappy. We didn't like the questions you were asking. I'll give you a perfect example. When I first started, what you see from the computer screen, from my phone, so how you're seeing it, you're the camera, and this is the screen. So the camera would pick up whatever you're seeing. So that was season 1, because I didn't have a camera back in 2013. Season 2, here's the camera, and I'm recording from the computer screen. Then my brother told me about, why don't you use Skype Recorder? You should have been doing it from the start. And I said, well, if I was doing Skype Recorder from the start, you wouldn't see me mature. You wouldn't see me... you wouldn't see any transitions. You wouldn't see anything. Yeah, you see me wearing different shirts. I can get to that in a little bit. Basically, you know, first I went into this little box in the corner to, okay, now people can see me. Because I was having panic attacks. So I was having, that's why I wanted to do the phone. Because basically this whole thing's therapy for myself. So I go, well, let's do it over the phone, but I still was having panic attacks. So I go, okay, this is not helping. Then I was like, okay, let's do video. And
were you having panic attacks because you were interviewing, or what would trigger it?
Well, both. I suffer from anxiety.
I have anxiety too. You're not alone, buddy. You know what? I spoke with some of my friends from Russia. Anxiety apparently is not even a condition out there. Like, a lot of people don't even know what that is. Here, so many people suffer with it. Until I started having those attacks, I didn't even know what that was. I thought it was dying or something. And then so many people are like, yeah, I have that, and I had, and it's like crazy. It's a real thing nowadays, and I never even thought, you know. And I don't know whether it's just, I'm from Russia, so I keep saying, oh, in America it's different. But you know, I really feel it has something to do, I don't know whether it's food that we're eating or the rhythm of life, but then the rhythm of life is very, when you're from a big city, it's going to be like that anyway, so I don't know what it is, but especially here, I think there's a huge risk for people to have that. And it's scary. It's a scary thing.
No, absolutely. I just know it's a chemical in the body.
Imbalance or something, whatever.
And it's just basically, if you have a routine, it doesn't bother you that much. But if you don't have a routine, I'll give you a perfect example. Now I'm going to pass the show back over to you. Mm-hmm. And like I said, this is always, every interview's got to be different. So like this one's different. But anyway, you're making a new friend, you're supporting your cause. You know, can't please everyone.
Right. Oh, you'll never please everyone.
So basically, I forgot what I was going to say.
Panic attacks?
Yes, thank you. So I started, you know, from the phone and the video. And I didn't really care how I looked. Because how you see me, I'm in a full screen. But I see myself, I'm in a little box. So then I went from the double screen. And my brother told me about Skype Recorder. And then he wanted to see a real transition. So fast forward. And it's kind of like, now, when I first say, okay, I'm being seen on camera, I have to be professional. So I had a red button shirt, I had a blue shirt, and it repeated every time I did an interview. Red, blue, green, purple, red, blue. it got boring. So after 100 episodes, like, you know what? I'm just like you, a normal person. So far, I have a couple of defects. Why not?
Make it more casual, right?
Yeah, so I wear a shirt like this. So
Nice shirt.
Thank you.
I like it.
I had an Iron Maiden shirt. I would just wear different shirts, just change it up.
Right.
When I first started, I asked people questions from the Green Book. Where do you stand on gay rights? Where do you stand on gun control? Where do you stand legalizing marijuana? Okay, that's great for 100 episodes. I don't want to sound repetitive. How can I make that different? So season 2 is kind of what we're doing now. I ask you, you ask me, you're making a friend out of it. It's like, well, I do like this format. Let's continue it to season 3. Season 4, I may go back to the book, but every interview is different. It's not going to be the same repetitive thing.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, to do a couple questions I do want to ask you before I pass it back to you
Mm-hmm.
is, did you go to college in Russia? And like college and high school, and did you do any sports growing up?
Well, I wasn't really into sports because since I was like 6 or 7, my mother, basically I started doing a lot of dance, professionally dancing, ballet, modern and jazz, and then acting, and then singing. So I was always very heavy in the musical theater, and I literally had no time to do any sports. And I was never really physically tough, I guess, to do any of the sports. And I'm like, oh my god, there's a ball, so no, I'd be terrible at it, I think. But I was really passionate about everything, connected with performing arts. As far as college, so after I graduated from high school, I studied at the Theater Academy of Dramatic Arts in St. Petersburg, which is over there. It's kind of like a mecca for every actor. And they had 600 people to audition for one place, and they would only accept 15 people per master, and there were like 3 masters. So it was like a dream come true to study there, and I was lucky enough to get in. But for me, it was more like a test. If I get in, kind of to see, do I have what it takes to pursue my career? Because I knew I wanted to move here because most opportunities, in film industry or in acting industry in general, whether it's theater or whatever, isn't obviously in America, but it was a huge jump for me. So, basically I talked to my mom, and I got in, and my mom was like, if you don't go study there, I don't know what I'm going to do. You have to go study, because it's everyone's dream. And I was like, no, I'm not going to study there because it's 5 years of my life. It's already late for me to move there as it is, to get used to culture and language and everything. So I was like, no, we're moving now. So because I didn't go to study there, my mom was kind of forced to move here, And once I got here, for the first 2 years, I was just adapting to culture and language, and I need to make money, and I didn't have time to study. And then I went to an acting school here, which is more like a studio training center, more so than a college. And with acting, I think what's more important is what you do in an audition room, more so who you study with. At an audition, they don't ask you, show me your diploma. They see, do you know on-camera technique? Do you know how to create a character? Do you know what subtext is? Do you know, code reading? All those technical skills. And it's not like I'm saying that there's nothing wrong with getting a formal education in acting, but I do believe that it's all about the skill, towards the end of the day. More so the prestigious school that you studied at, you know what I mean? So no, answering to your question, I did not go to college. I studied acting at a training center.
No, absolutely. Now, I tried taking acting classes. There's one guy, he was in Ghost in New York, or Middletown, New York. He was somewhere.
Yeah, I was going to say, there are a lot of things in New York. You should probably check that out.
Working on it. I just want this to be my primary goal. But before I did my talk show, I was interested in being an actor.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. On the one show, just funny story about that. When I was growing up in high school, the one movie that influenced my life was Almost Famous. So since 2004 to about 2010, I wanted to be a personal assistant. I wanted to go on tour as a band. I wanted to go on tour as a professional wrestler. I wanted to be a roadie. That didn't really work out. So I came across this TV show, Suits. If you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it. It's really good.
I'm really bad at like, it's funny because everyone's like, you're an actress, you should watch those TV shows, but I'm really bad when I get hooked on something. I just can't stop watching, and I'll just disappear from like everywhere, and I just like sit in my home like nonstop addictive like that. So I just try to like watch an episode so I kind of get the tone of the show and who's directing, casting, actors, like business wise, and then just kind of move on.
No, absolutely. And I also recommend Breaking Bad. That's really good.
Oh, yeah, I know. I have not seen that one either. Don't be mad at me. Everyone's like, what? I know it's amazing, yeah. I've seen bits of it, but I haven't seen it.
Actually, I love your accent, by the way.
Thank you.
So how hard was it for you to hide your... Well, let's go back to you now with your acting. What's having a Russian accent? Is it very... I'm trying to find a word for it. Is it very pleasable for people to say, we want you to be a Russian girl with your accent? Or do you say, okay, you're doing this part as an American, you have to hide your accent?
Well, it was definitely, well, honestly, when I first moved here for the first 2 years, I didn't even care about the accent. I just wanted to understand people and being able to express myself, because that was an issue. I was literally avoiding people because I didn't understand whether they said something funny or sad or whatever. You just feel stupid. So when I first went to take an acting class, I was just focusing on feeling the language, So when you're telling me I hate your guts, I needed to feel it, because if you would tell it to me in Russian, I'd be like, what the, So first that was my goal, and then, and then the second part was getting rid of an accent, not getting rid of it, but controlling it. So when I needed to use it, I would use it, and when I not need to use it, I would not need, I would just let it go. And when I'm upset, tired, or pissed, it comes off stronger. And then in my day-to-day life, I'm not trying to control anything. I'm just letting it be, Obviously, it's not as strong as it was, when I first moved here. But as far as roles, at first, yes, I did mostly roles that were, with an accent. And now I feel like it's less and less. And it's also how you communicate it with your agent, like, hey, I want to get sent out more often for American roles as well, so let me show you the video where I don't have an accent, so I can prove to you that I can do it. So if you prove to them that you can't do it, then they can send you more roles that are, not necessarily American, but like not Russian, strong Russian.
Well, if it's okay, can you give us a perfect example of your Russian accent?
Sure, I can do that. Basically, right now I talk more with a Russian accent, more so than with American. I don't know. It's hard to transition,
Oh, I like it. It looks great on you.
It depends, because it's very stereotypical, like, oh, Russian, like you're playing either a prostitute or a spy, or and that was another kind of a goal of mine, is like not be like someone else, but not change the industry, but like how many Hispanic actresses there are, Salma Hayek and then Penelope Cruz. Not that many, and Russian, who do you see? You don't, what's her name? Oh my gosh, I can't think of her name right now.
Well, I know, are you a professional wrestling fan?
Wrestling?
Yes.
Not really, no.
There's currently a wrestling couple, Rusev and Lana. And Lana comes out with the whole full-blown, and she's not really Russian. I think she's American. But she comes out with the full-blown Russian accent. It's really funny. You should watch it. I think that would be perfect for you if you just want to imitate her and see how many hits she gets.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely helps to be bilingual, because you can do both. And then sometimes it could be a plus. Like, even when I was getting an agent, it was a plus for me because in Chicago at the time, for like that agency specifically, and it was a pretty big agency. I mean, it still is. They didn't have, I think, any Russian actresses on their roster, so that was a good thing for me. Obviously, I'm sure in New York and LA they have plenty, but for some reason in Chicago they didn't have that many, so it was kind of a a plus for me. Actually, Chicago market's been great so far. They lowered the tax on like 30%, so there are a lot of major TV networks are coming in. So before, Chicago was mostly like a theater town and, Second City and all of that. People will get trained and then move to LA and New York right away. But now, there are a lot of opportunities, and then it's not as competitive, as New York or LA, for example. But there's still a lot of TV now and then theater at the same time. So it's kind of a great, it's a great city, I think, for beginner actors to get some credits before you get out to LA, for example, because LA will just eat you up if you're not ready. If you don't have an agent, if you're not in the union, if you don't have any substantial credits on your resume, they'll be like, next, Is what there are like 50,000 actors that come to Los Angeles every year. So it's a lot more competitive. But yeah, I love Chicago. I love Chicago actors. The community is much more friendlier. I lived in Los Angeles for like a few months, and I had to come back for personal reasons. But it's so much different, people, but especially people in their acting community. It's very much, they smile in your face, and then there's a lot of jealousy, a lot of. I'm sure there's a lot of that here too, but I wasn't as exposed to it as I was there in Chicago. And everyone is very much into themselves. They're there for you if you want to party, and then as soon as, I don't know, you have a flat tire or something, like, see ya, bye. Like really very, very different. So I kind of started appreciating more, Chicago acting community.
No, absolutely. Now, before I pass, actually, I keep hinting towards it, but I'm going to pass the show back over to you. The last 3 minutes. Was there anything you wanted to promote? Anything you want to talk about? This is your time, after all.
Well, as I said, I was involved in acting for the last 3 years. Landed an agent. I did Crisis on NBC. I did a feature film that won Best Picture in Brazil. Just recently did a short film that actually won an international film festival and was officially selected in several other festivals as well. I'm currently shooting a film in Detroit. I'm flying out there in a few days. I took a little break from acting, so there's nothing very current that I have to promote, unfortunately, but maybe you can get me on your show a little later on so I can do that. I was working for an acting school for a while, and I really fell in love with business side of acting and developed great relationship with agents and casting directors here. And right now, I'm working on creating my own business, starting my own business. I don't want to give too much information on that because I'm still kind of developing that. But basically, the idea would be to help beginner actors to get started, and it would be mostly about business side of acting. How to get an agent, how to get in a union, how to, start auditioning. What is the union? Things like that. Because I feel like there are a lot of great schools and studios that teach you how to act, but not the business side of things. Because you are a business basically. You're a product, and you're selling yourself, and you need to know. Because you can be the best actor in the world, but if no one knows that you exist, then who cares, So how do you, and, I've only been doing it for not that long, and I've accomplished some things that I know a lot of Chicago actors that were born and raised here and been doing it for a long time weren't able to do. So, and I'm very passionate about helping actors because I myself ran into a lot of scams when I was starting out and was ripped off, and I just hate seeing actors, especially child actors, because mothers would do anything for their child and they all want to be a star, and to help them learn more about the business, and how this whole industry works. And I'm mostly going to be focusing, of course, on the Chicago market because that's what I'm familiar with. So yeah, I'm currently working on that and also focusing on my acting career as well.
No, absolutely. Now, what is the one thing you always wanted to do but never did?
Always wanted to do but never. I wanted to skydive. I never did that. Well, it's still on my bucket list, but I'm terrified but excited at the same time. But now with like my anxiety attacks, like not bring out the bad, But I feel like I'm more cautious, with myself. And I'm like, oh my God, no, this is too fast or this is too scary, But I definitely want to do that. And be cool to do it in a movie or something, there are a lot of things that I want to do that scares me, and I like the fact that it's scary, but then that's how, you grow and you learn. And I do want to make my own movie one day. As I said, currently working on a business idea, so I really want to create a business that would help actors, somewhere down the line, eventually, maybe around the world, because I get a lot of questions from actors that are, from Russia and then even India and other countries, because I did a lot of vlogging and it was pretty successful, and people asking, how do I get started in America, So I don't know, just help acting community. I never thought I would want something like that, but I really am passionate about that. So yeah, there are a bunch of things. I'll update you on more things as we move along.
Now, we're wrapping up the interview segment. Like I said, I do want to talk to you after the show. But wrapping up the interview segment, are you on Stage 32? Are you on Twitter? How can your fans follow you?
Right. Well, I'm currently updating my website, so you can reach me at www.AnastasiaEdwards.com. You can pretty much Google me. You can check out my IMDb page. I am look me up on Facebook. It's Anastasia Edwards 77. I am on Stage 32 as well. Again, it's my first and last name, Anastasia Edwards. I'd love to hear from you guys. Whoever you are, especially in acting community, that'd be great. Actors, directors, producers, casting, networks. Casting directors. But even if you're not on the arts, I'd love to, have more friends and more connections, absolutely. So yeah, you can pretty much Google me, and then I think you'll see the list of social media websites and my personal websites and other things that I'm on.
Yeah, absolutely. Now wrapping up, I just want to say it was a real honor and privilege to have you as a guest. And I'm
Thank you.
Thanks
for having me. I really enjoyed this, and I think you're doing an amazing thing. And I'm going to talk to you more after we're done about maybe how we can network together and help each other out, because I have some ideas, I think, for the show.
Oh, absolutely. We're wrapping up. As I say, it's a real honor and privilege to have you on the show, and looking forward to building a friendship with you as well.
Yep, you got it.